possible, please ensure that you fill the attendance form that my colleagues are dropping in the group chat so that you'll be able to get the slide that we're using for this session and also get access to the recorded version of this discussion. So that even if you drop off at any point, you can easily go back to that exact video, rewatch it, and you're able to flow easily with what we are talking about. So who are we? We are Analytics, and we are the leading educational technology company from Africa, helping people of the Black community to break into the tech ecosystem. So how do we do this? We do it by lowering the entry barrier using project-based approach to teach people different tech domains for them to be able to break into it. So for the last 4 years, we've helped over 2,000 students across UK, US, Canada, Europe, Africa, mention it, move from our classroom into landing their first roles, okay? And we have a couple of courses across several training models, which is data analytics, business analysis, data engineering, data science, financial analytics, HR analytics, agile project management, and of course, cybersecurity, which is what we are discussing here tonight. And soon to come, AI engineering. And we always have amazing people, amazing instructors come from the leading companies in the world, come back to the classroom to teach using their experience and the project-based aspect to make sure that people are not learning theoretically, rather they are learning using the project-based aspect of things, all right? And our students also get to work in these amazing companies from what we've come to see because they move from our classroom into landing their first role. So you too can also be one of those people in the nearest future. So who am I? Basically, my name is Chukwemeka Ekpa, and I'm a technology consultant with close to a decade experience in governance and compliance, and of course, strategic consulting. And presently, I am the CEO of Analytics, and I've guided over 1,000 students with no prior technical background move from their the jobs they are doing at the moment into the tech ecosystem. And my experience spans across GRC in the banking sector, head of control in a fintech, and of course, data analyst in the fintech as well. And I've also served as a business consultant in hospitality industry. So you can connect with me across the socials, LinkedIn, Instagram, and of course, Twitter. Then with me tonight is the amazing cybersecurity expert that we have. Eken, I don't know if you're on the call at the moment, so that I can also, bring you up. Okay, yeah, Eken is here.
Hello, yes, I am. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Ekene. So with me on the call tonight is Ekene GK. Ekene GK is a security engineer in the financial sector with close to a decade experience in IT and security. And his background includes AWS security, cloud infrastructure, conducting vulnerability assessment, and of course, pen testing and API and web applications. Ekene has spent years providing level 3 technical support using tools such as NOM, ISPI for traffic. And of course, he also had experience as a network support technician in an ISP. So he has hands-on experience with Linux operating system, Kubernetes, Docker, and of course, Bash scripting. And he gained various DI projects. So basically, Ekene is passionate for continuous learning, which is why he is giving back to the society by virtue of training. And he's had commitment to enhancing security practices and optimizing processes with cybersecurity field. So personally for Ekene, he's guided close to 100 individuals with no prior technical background into cybersecurity. So you see, we'll have a fully packed individual with us tonight that is going to guide us through how we can use Nmap with respect to vulnerability assessment. So please make sure that you stay tuned and see how all these things can be done practical-wise and not just the theory aspect of it. So what are we going to be doing tonight? We'll have a couple of things that I've lined up that we're going to do, but I promise you in the next an hour, 30 minutes, roughly 2 hours, we should be done. So first, we're going to be having an understanding of cybersecurity and of course, Nmap practical masterclass. So we're going to have full understanding of cybersecurity and then also have an Nmap practical masterclass. Then next, we'll also walk you through the pathway to becoming a cybersecurity professionals, okay? The pathway to becoming a cybersecurity professionals, and then also walk you through the growth internship program. And of course, we'll also, make you to know about our special discount, which is our offer to you by virtue of being on this call. I think I saw a question. Let me look at it before we dive right into what we'll have. How do they land their first jobs? Georgina, is this class for newbies? Georgina, all right, Georgina, so we are going to handle all the questions that you have. But you agree with me that if we start taking those questions right now, it's going to derail everything that we are going to discuss, okay? So just listen attentively because all the questions that you have is part of things that we are going to handle. They're going to see step-by-step approach on how to do this and be able to also be like them. Is this a class for newbies? Basically, this is a class to show you how it can be done. There is no how you'll be able to learn cybersecurity in one sitting. Okay, there is no how you learn cybersecurity in one sitting. And then Nmap, of course, is not the first thing you will handle in cybersecurity. There are several other things that you will walk through before you get to Nmap and vulnerability scanning. So, but generally, we are here to show you how this can be done so that you don't think that cybersecurity is very, very hard or that it's something that you can't do because you can't code. No. So we're going to show you how to identify vulnerabilities with Nmap, okay, as a newbie in cybersecurity, because anyone can actually use Nmap. It's just how does it work? And that's part of things that we are going to walk you through tonight. So first thing, I always love to play this game because it somehow tilts towards cybersecurity. So we have vowels, the A, E, I, O, U, and then let's try to replace these vowels with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we have A, E, I, O, U, and we're trying to replace it with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You mentioned that it can be used or stated in portfolio. Is that accurate? I don't know when I mentioned this right now, but of course, Judith, everything that you learn when you are practicing using project-based model can always be in your portfolio, right? You can always put it in your portfolio as part of experiential learnings that I've had in the past. Okay, so moving back, we'll have A, E, I, O, U, and we're going to, replace it with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's replace A, E, I, O, U with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then pronounce all consonants with an R sound after them. So for instance, if we have something like game, if game is Gawon Matsu, which means we've been able to codify some of the vowels and attach one to them and also attach the R sound to the consonants. If game is Gawon Matsu, what is Fawon Matsu? All right, so let me see people that played this childhood game while growing up, that we used to codify voice then and communicate amongst our peeps back then. So I want to know people that played this game, unless all of us here, we are all, Aji, Bakabi had days to say it. All right, so we have, if game is Gawon Matsu, what is Fawon Matsu? Let me hear it. So please feel free to type it in the chat box. Okay, Zoman said fame. Zoman said fame. Is it correct? Amazing. Yes, it is correct. So Zoman actually is following. Tino said fame. Amazing. These are people that played this game way back in 1990s. All right, so next one is, if now try to decrypt this 3 la 4 vatu tatu kaha. All right, let me see people that their brain is firing straight up. All right, 3 la 4 vatu tatu kaha. Just 1 minute, okay? This should be very easy for us to be able to decrypt. Okay, so that we can jump right into what we have. I just want to be able to introduce what cybersecurity really is all about, because these are things that you get to see when it has to do with encryption and the other aspect of cybersecurity. Though it's not going to be in this aspect, but once you have the primary key to this, once you have the primary key, you will be able to easily decode it. Okay, I think I have a response. Ami AB. Ami AB said, I love tech. Is it correct? I love tech. Is it correct? Someone should please check whether Ami AB is correct. Ami AB, okay. Oluwatoyin said yes, that it is correct. Are we agreeing that it is correct? Can you have a fan in the house? Someone is saying that he had opportunity to work with you previously when you worked as a SOC 3-tier engineer with Microfocus, and he's pleased to meet you again. Nice. It's good to have people that know our
facilitator. Yeah. Hello, Binebi.
All right, he might not be able to speak. Okay, so back to what we are talking about. So I love tech is correct. So this is simple, right? We already know the keys that is attached to some of those vowels and how to pronounce it as well. So it will be easy for you to decrypt the encryption that we've had on the screen. Now, this is the same way in cybersecurity that once you have access to the primary key or the codes on which something is run, it can personally on your own be able to also decrypt it. There is no difference in it. Okay, there is no difference. So this is just basically to sharpen our minds before we dive right into what we have to discuss. So the answer is I love tech, and maybe is correct. I mean, if I have money, I would have given you part of it right now. So moving on, we'll have other ones here. Please try to also look through it and get to see what it also means. But please ensure that you fill the attendance form so that you get the recording of this class and also the slide that we are using for this discussion. So first off, what is cybersecurity? Before we dive right into the practical, let's just have a level ground of understanding what cybersecurity is all about. So cybersecurity is just the practice of protecting your systems, your networks, and data from digital attack. So any digital assets that you have, the same way that when you are leaving your house, you are trying to lock the door. If you park your car, you're trying to lock the door. On your WhatsApp, you're trying to put two-factor authentication. On anything you have, you are trying to make sure that there's no external influence. That is how cybersecurity also works. So it's just the practice of protecting the digital assets that you have. So it's no more the physical aspect now. It now boils down to both physicalities and also the digital assets that we also have. And the goal of cybersecurity is just simple, right? And it can be represented using the CIA triad, which we call the information security principle, right? And that's confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data. So everything that you're going to meet in cybersecurity is hinged on these three things: confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data, right? First thing is, for confidentiality, it is to protect the confidentiality of all those data, right? You're going to come across encryption, which is both the data at rest and data in transit. So encryption can also be likened to part of what we just did now, okay? It's just process of you converting unreadable cyber text, right? Okay, so you're converting it to be unreadable. So the same way we're able to convert I love tech into trailer for Vatu Kaha, that's the same way in the tech ecosystem. It has ways that you can now convert actual data into ciphertext that nobody can now read it, both when it's at rest, which is when it's stored, okay, and also when it's in transit, maybe when you're trying to copy it through a digital transmitter and also move it, okay? You have various means of encryption. You have your BitLocker, of course, you have your AWS key management service as well, that's KMS, right? So basically, you'd see that every single activity that you have to perform in cybersecurity, one way or the other, is linked either inside confidentiality to protect the confidence of the data, or to protect the integrity of that exact data, or also make it available. So it must be in either of these three things. Next one, we also have tokenization and masking. I mean, if we use apps, if you use financial apps, you definitely can see the option for you to click an I button for you to mask your balance. That means if anyone has access or someone is looking at your screen, they will not be able to see it. The same way that when you are typing your passwords, instead of it to show the actual password you are typing in, is showing in a masked format, either in asterisk or in bullet points. So basically, these are also things to protect the confidentiality of that exact data. Right? We also have access controls, right? So basically, in companies where data is available for everyone, there are still some, for you to access certain data, you need to have certain access to it. Okay, you need to have a work class. Maybe if you're also in the financial sector, the person that is initiating a transaction will not be the same person that's approving a transaction. These are access control. So there are some certain times that data will be available to people based on department, or data will be available to people based on level in that exact company. So these are ways, these are things that everything that you'll be doing in cybersecurity is hinged on. So when you move to integrity of data as well, the same way message digest, where you now talk about your hashing, that can do with OpenSS or can do with Python hashlib. And then, of course, digital signature to also show the integrity of this data, which means if I've been able to work on something and attached my digital signature to it, there is no way, there's no how on earth I can be able to repudiate that this is not my work. Okay, so once you're able to attach your digital signature, it shows non-repudiation that this is mine and it's authentic. Okay, if you move to availability of data and now start seeing the aspect of the IDS, where you talk about your intrusion detection systems, or your IPS, which is intrusion prevention system. And of course, in this other aspect, you can talk about your SNOT and other tools there. Also, patch management, maybe when you, as a cybersecurity expert, have seen a vulnerability and you're now writing to the devs, okay, we need to patch this exact version to a latest one for us to correct some of the deficiencies that I've seen. So on day-to-day basics, everything that you will be doing in cybersecurity is hinged on the three principles of cybersecurity, which is one, this confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And this is what we call the CIA triad. I hope someone has been able to at least understand the principle on which cybersecurity is hinged on. The three pillars of cybersecurity: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Before we move on, I would love to at least get some reaction to be sure that people are following what we are discussing tonight. Right? Please, if you are following us up to this very moment, please type in anything in the chat box, any reaction, so that I'll be sure that there are people that are following till this moment. All right, I can see a couple of K. Is it K that we're doing tonight? Okay, a couple of K is dropping. Tino K, miscellaneous or mixed K. Ria said following, iPhone following. That should be Princess. I may be right on. Fidelis, fine. Amazing. Amazing. I'm glad that people are following us. So next, we're going to look at, so how can I learn properly? How can I learn properly? Now, the challenge that most people have in the tech ecosystem is because data is also available for everyone now. But how do you make sure that you are applying that exact data in the right form? Okay, how do you make sure that you're applying it in the right form, especially when it has to do with things that are technical, like cybersecurity? So one thing I always make everyone to understand is that the best form of learning when you are moving into a place that's entirely different from what you used to do is to gain practical based experience. Okay, gain practical based experience. Okay, which means, sorry about that, if you are looking to break into cybersecurity, it's not about just sitting down and reading what is cybersecurity, what is CIA triad, what is topography, what is cryptography. No, it's not just about that. You need to get hands-on and be able to have practical knowledge of what you are trying to do, which is why what we want to handle tonight is to show you practical way for vulnerability assessment using Nmap. So first thing first is make sure that if you are learning by virtue of using project-based learning, which is to gain practical-based understanding. Because one thing is sure, the tech ecosystem is more of competence over credentials. It's more of competence over credentials. Now, certifications is great. It is nice to have, but is it what's going to keep you on the job? For instance, if you don't have basic understanding of what CIA triad is, you are not able to do anything. You can't assess vulnerabilities, you can't do pen testing, you can't do incident response, you can't do anything at all. But if rushed, and maybe you've gotten some certifications in that exact domain. But when you are called up, okay, you have this certification, please help us to assess this IP and know the vulnerabilities that exist there. Can you do it? That is where the question lies. So it's no more a question of now, you've done certification, you have it. It's not about getting your hands dirty. So first is have a full understanding of some of the concepts and the protocols that exist. And of course, gain proficiency in the operating systems, your Kali Linux, your Mac OS, your Windows OS. So it's no more just one operating system that you need to have now. And of course, engage in hands-on projects and labs. And then definitely you need to be able to participate in cybersecurity events like Capture the Flag. So this is the best way for you to be able to have full-time knowledge, for you to be able to have knowledge that will last you longer than just certification. So right now, Ekene is going to come up and walk us through the hands-on aspect of Nmap after he's been able to also explain what Nmap is and the other aspect of it. So we're going to the practical aspects. So please make sure that you are watching and listening attentively, okay? Because this is a moment where you see how some of these things can be done. Also for you to see that it is not hard, okay? Is it easy? No. Is it hard? No. It's simply all about you understanding what you need to do and applying it end to end. Okay, so Ekene, please, you have the floor. And guys, please make sure that you fill the attendance form, because that's how you can be able to also get the recording of this class and the slide for you to be able to practice on your own and be able to enhance what you've been able to see tonight. Hi, Ekene, the floor is yours.
Hi, thank you very much. Thank you for that wonderful intro. I'm going to be sharing my screen in a minute. Please confirm when it's up. Can you see it? Sorry.
Yes, it's up.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much once again. Thank you, Chukwemeka, for that wonderful introduction. So yeah, I think Chukwemeka has said it all for the fundamentals of cybersecurity, how to get in and what's really important in cybersecurity. I like to think of cybersecurity as, it's not really a field per se. It's like, how do you transition from where you are to cybersecurity? The things you're doing currently, there is security embedded in it, but it's not something that everyone is aware of. So how can you build on what you currently have, be it any part of IT, and turn it into, and become a cybersecurity analyst or senior or expert, as the case may be. So for today, we'll be looking at how to find vulnerabilities and exploit them with Nmap. Nmap, Network Mapper, short for Nmap, is simply a tool that you can use to scan your entire network for vulnerabilities. It's quite basic, but as basic as this tool is, it's the fundamental to many other tools that you see out there, many other automated tools that you see out there, like Qualys, Nessus, OpenVAS, and all other tools. It's quite, the workings of Nmap is similar to what it does. So if you understand Nmap, you'd understand any automated tool out there, because from Nmap, you can build out your own automated tool. And Nmap basically helps you find open ports and services, and you can use that to exploit if there are vulnerabilities on those open ports and services, you can use Nmap to exploit it. And we're going to see how to do that in a few minutes. And Nmap is very beginner friendly, because the syntax is to use Nmap is, it's a command line tool. There's also the graphical user interface tool as well. For the command line tool is very, very easy to use, and we're going to see that very soon. Moving on to the next slide. The way we're going to do this is sort of like a case study whereby people or a company comes to us to help them assess their environment, their infrastructure, to find vulnerabilities in the infrastructure, to see how we can, if there are possible exploitable vulnerabilities, we should find that and also report it ethically, because the whole idea of pen testing now is to ensure that you're doing this ethically. Whatever you find, make sure you report it. And yeah, so what we have today is, a tech company or just any company has hired us to scan the entire environment. It's just an environment consisting of few servers, and have a deep look into that server and see if there are exploitable vulnerabilities, and also to let them know so they can patch up and get rid of those vulnerabilities. So yeah, this is the case study which I just spoke about. They've contracted us to find out vulnerabilities within their infrastructure. So like I said, there are just few servers we're going to be scanning today to find out vulnerabilities and also exploit them as well, because whenever you are carrying out a pen test, you have to sort of like show a proof of concept of what you have done, because it's not enough to just say, yeah, I found this, and this, but what did you find? How did you find it? And how bad is this? So those are questions that we're going to answer very soon. And the next slide speaks to what we're going to be using for this demonstration. We're going to be using Nmap, which is the network mapping tool to identify vulnerabilities. And there is a vulnerable machine that we're going to be using, Metasploitable, and one other machine. This has been built for practice. So you can test it out and see how you can exploit vulnerabilities, because whatever you do here can be replicated in the wild as well. That's out there in the real world. But it's always advisable to do this ethically. And I should also state this: Nmap it's illegal to scan the environment of companies. So you have to be careful when you're using this tool. You don't just use it to scan anywhere, because if eventually that intrusion is traced back to you, there could be serious penalties for it. And also VirtualBox and our Linux terminal interface. All right, so the objective here, or what we're going to be doing, is to identify open ports and services. And the command you can see on the screen is very simple: Nmap against your target IP, and you will get a host of information. Then lastly is the output. So we're going to be looking at what the output is, understand what Nmap is showing us before we go ahead to exploit or take notes of what we have found. All right, so lastly, okay, not lastly. So some of the remediation suggestions. Okay, yes, we have found vulnerabilities, but what do we do next? Like I said, the whole essence of pen testing is to do it ethically. Yes, there are bad guys that do this for the sake of money and whatever they do it for, their ill intentions. But we as cybersecurity professionals, we are expected to report our findings. That's why you have to do this ethically in a controlled environment, and not just going out there and intruding people's networks and infrastructure. So these are some of the remediations that we're going to be profiling today, after seeing how after identifying vulnerabilities and exploiting them. So these are some of the remediations that we're going to profile. Close unused ports, update softwares, and also enforce strong password policies, just to name a few. And lastly, these are the key takeaways. Why Nmap? Nmap is a very, very robust tool. As simple as it is, you can use Nmap to do a whole lot of things. It's not just a port scanning tool. You can use it to exploit vulnerabilities as well. While it's basic, it's still a very, very powerful tool, and it's used by cybersecurity professionals in their day-to-day activities as well. And yeah, I would encourage every aspiring cybersecurity analyst, pen tester, any offensives, anybody getting into any aspect of cybersecurity to understand how technology works, how IT works, and Nmap is one of the tools that can help you understand how technology works as well. So I'll stop sharing now, and I'm going to be sharing my Kali box. But before I go ahead to do that, I don't know, I just want to following up until now. Yeah, that was a very short slide, and just to confirm if you all are with me, you can just type yes, why, or anything in the chat. So just to confirm you all are following now. All right, thank you, Binibi. Yeah, it's also nice to see you here, Binibi. I hope you're keeping well. All right, thank you very much. All right, so next up, I would share my Kali screen. So this is where we're going to be doing all of our pen tests today. And let me just log in. This is what Kali looks like. This, I guess this is 2024. Yeah, we're going to be working out of our terminal, out of my terminal. Just again, can we all confirm that this screen is visible? Sorry, Chukwemeka, please. I won't be able. Okay, I can see the chat. No worries. Can we confirm that this is
Yes,
visible, my
we
screen?
can see your
All
Kali.
right. No, I mean the text on the screen. Is it big enough?
Yes, you can see your Kali, yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. How do we download the tool? It's very simple. You can go to kali.org. All right. Felix, you can go to kali.org or just Google Kali and it will take you, or just type Kali download to take you there. So first things first, I'd just like to show you the version of Kali I'm running in case you want to use the same. This is Kali 6.8 2024-05. So in case you want to get it. And first things first, I'm going to do is execute Nmap. This is always the first step to whenever you are trying to use any command in Linux. Just run the command and see what it brings for you. Just read about it for like a few seconds. Yes, what does it say? Nmap this is the version of Nmap, and this is the usage. Nmap, scan types, options, target specification. So this is how to use it, basically. It's like a very, very simple tool. All you have to do is Nmap and either pick your options or just put in the IP address there. You know, these are several other commands you can use, options or flags you can use with Nmap. We're going to use a few of them, not all, due to time. But yeah, I just want to show this because any command you're using and you don't know about it, the first thing is just to run that command and see the help page. This is also a brief example of how to use Nmap as well. All right. So now I have the case study we have now is for a company has contracted us to come and scan their network, scan their infrastructure, find vulnerabilities, and let them know about it. I don't know anything about all I know is that I'm in their network now. They've connected me, they've given me access. It's at this point, it's no longer a black box test. It's a gray box test because I am within the network. And that's all they've done for me. They just connected me to the network. Now, how do I discover devices on that network? How do I do that? First things first is to check my IP. What IP have I obtained after connecting to the organization's network? And to do that, it's just a very simple command, IP and A, and hit enter. This might be a little too big, but yeah. So it shows me two interfaces, the loopback interface and Ethernet 0. But I'm more concerned about this Ethernet 0 and the IP that's on it. Moving down, I can see iNet here. This is my subnet, 192.168.56.101/24. All right, this is like more than enough information. And one thing I would also say here is whenever you are doing a pen test, or whenever you're learning in general, maybe a CTF, anything you're doing, always have your notes. So there are various note-taking tools out there. You can use OneNote on Windows. You can use Notion. You can use Evernote, whatever it is you want to use. But ensure you're taking notes that you can always go back to. Use a tool that can help you back up those notes, like OneNote will help you do that. Notion will help you do that. Those are the two that I know of that I use very well. But in Kali, there is one I would use just because it's, sorry. So there's another one in Kali. I wouldn't advise you to use this one, though. It's called Cherry Tree. So I'm going to use this one to take notes by the side. So now I have run this command. What next? I will take a screenshot. I'll take a screenshot. I'm going to take a screenshot of this.
Yeah, can I there?
Yes, I am.
I think the network is glitching from your side.
You can't hear me. Hello? 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 Can you hear me now? Hello? Can anyone hear me? Yeah, so you say, okay, yes. So a lot of people are able to hear me. Maybe Chukwemeka, you might need to check your end. All right, so I just turned off my video just in case to save more bandwidth. But a lot of people can hear me. Let me just reshare my screen and stop sharing. All right, so I am taking a screenshot of what I have found. There are various screenshots, sniping tools you can use. So I'm just going to use this one. I'm going to take this, and within my notes, I'll create a new note here. I'll call it, let's call this TechSphere org organization IP address. All right, so this is basically what you do. All right, now that I know my IP address, what next? What would I do? I don't want to go into explaining what an IP address is, but you can easily Google it. IP address is how computers talk to each other on the network. They're able to, it's just like names on a network, coupled with your MAC address as well. But on a network, as your routers and switches, you use basically your IP address to communicate from one device to another. This is okay, I'm just going to cancel this. Let me just cancel this. I don't have to save it for now. All right, so now I would grab this IP address because this is what I need. Copy. I'm going to clear the screen again. And now I would bring up my command, Nmap. Remember I said to run this command is just Nmap against the IP address. But now I don't know the IP address of the machine of my target, but I want to scan the entire network and see what Nmap can find. So all I have to do now is paste the IP address I copied. I'm going to change the last octet to 0 because my IP is 101, but the IP address of the network is this. This is the IP address of the network. While the other IP you saw, this other IP is the IP address of my host. So in a network or in IP addresses, there's the network IP and there is the host IP address. So this one currently is my network IP address, but I'm not concerned about this network IP address because I know it. Because I know it. And what I want to know is, or what I want to discover is other IP addresses in the network. So I'm going to remove this and replace that 101 with 0 here. Replacing that, all I have to do is just hit enter and allow Nmap do its thing. Let me cancel this, and so we can see how Nmap is scanning. I'm going to add the flag -v for verbose to print out everything it's doing, so we don't just keep staring at a blank screen. So once I hit enter, you can see it's scanning 256 hosts on the network and 2 ports per host. So let's see what the results will be. Let's watch it scan. That's ping the network. So basically Nmap will ping, you can see host down. Look at, you can see all the IP addresses. So it's pinging it from the network IP to all of the hosts. You can see all of 516 coming up. All right, so you can see all of the IP addresses and these are all down. Okay, let's keep going. Now we see some findings, which is awesome. We can see this is 56.1. 56.1 is usually our router, it's our gateway. And we're not really concerned about that. That's fine, except we see something among the services here that we're interested in. We can see 101, which is our computer or our Kali machine. We can see 102, which is another server. And lastly, we can see 103. All right, let me just stay here for a bit on 103 and explain the output of this. So what you're seeing here on the screen is Nmap running a scan against all hosts on the network, and it discovered that this host is currently up and has several ports open here. So ports, you'd have to understand the basics of networking for you to understand what ports are. But if you already know what ports are, ports and services are, all well and good. So port 21 is FTP. It's by standard. These are standard ports. So port 21 is FTP, port 22 is SSH, 23 is Telnet, 25 is SMTP, and down to there are lots of, we can even see MySQL, there's a database running here. And also see Postgres, another database. You can see VNC. We can see X11, which is also another graphical tool for connecting graphically to a system. There are lots of ports here that are open. But yes, we can see the services. And sorry, I forgot to mention the state. The state is this, the one in the center. It says open. If it's closed, it will tell you closed. If it's unable to reach that port, it might tell you something like filtered. So there are different states. That's why it's very important you read the manual of Nmap so you can understand what it does, how it displays its message. You can also Google it and you would see you have a lot of information there. So we can see there are several IPs, about 3 or 4. But when you're doing, or when I'm doing a pen test, I'm more interested in, most times what's a target that has lots of open ports. I'm more interested in that because you would have more success there. I'm trying to find the vulnerability within those open ports because you can't just have all these ports open on your server. Why do you need all these ports open on your server? Your server is supposed to serve a specific purpose and not just have ports open here and there. So what do I do next? Take a screenshot or take a notes. That's always remember to take a screenshot. So I'm going to, I think, yeah, this is fine. This is fine for me. So I'm going to take this. Open ports on target 192.168.6.103, and I paste that in. I think there's one more machine that, yeah, I'm also interested in this. Screen, I can spell that right. Yeah, screenshots. Also interested in this too. And I'm going to take a screenshot of this and also do target 192.168.56.102. And of course, yeah, feel free to put that numerically, 102 before 103. So yeah, likewise, I can see several ports, TCP, MS, MySQL. But it doesn't end here. Yes, I can see these services. But how do I know what version of FTP is running, what version of SSH or HTTP is running on this server? That's the next question now. How do I know what version is running on that server? I'm going to bring up my nmap command again. But before I do that, let me just confirm that you all are with me and I'm not moving too fast. If I'm moving too fast, oh, someone said he's not hearing me again. Felix, can you confirm that you can hear me now? Okay, you can hear me. All right, you're with me. Yes, yes. Yes, I'm moving too fast, but yes, you can hear me. Okay, I can hear you. All right. Okay, all right. Thank you very much. And I hope you all are following too. All right, thank you for the responses. All right, so I'll bring up my command again. And now I have seen some targets within this network. All I have to do now is replace one. Let's start with 103 because that one has like a lot of outputs. Let's start with 103. And there are specific flags I want to use now. But before I use them, I'm just going to type nmap again so I can show you the flags that I need to use. This is one of the flag I'm going to use. And yeah, OS detection is a very good script. I'm going to see this later on. If time permits us. Yes, SV. Very, very important. You can see service version detection. It probes all open ports to determine the service/version information. So that's a very, very good flag to use. And also the port as well. All right, this is also another one you can use, the fast scan, if you want to quickly sweep through all the IP addresses within a network. I could easily have included this -F while I was doing my initial scan, but I didn't want to. I just allowed it do its thing. All right, so I'm going to clear the screen again and bring up this command. This time, I'm going to be running Nmap against 106.103 and add the -SV flag. Yes, let me add the -SV flag against 103 so you can see all the versions of the services running on this server. All right, you can see this time the output is not coming out because I didn't include the -V flag. That's to print all the versions. Sorry, print out all what Nmap is doing when it's trying to scan this machine. All right, so yes, so this is what we have here. You can see now we have more outputs compared to the other. There is another column added, which is called version. And we have port 21 FTP, which is running VSFTPD, which is this is the name of the service and the version. We also have OpenSSH with this version. We have Linux Telnet D. These are the services. Some of them it's unable to get the versions, but yeah, it's all right. Like you can see this one, it did a guess. It's probably between 3.x and 4.x. Doesn't know the exact version. But yeah, it's all right. You can even see this Metasploitable root shell, bind shell. This is a backdoor. I know that because when attackers get into a system, they like to open a port that they can use to always get into that system anytime. You can see another FTP service, Pro FTPD, running on port 2121. This must have been configured by the system admin. Look at the database and the version. Likewise, Postgres is unable to guess the exact version, which is 8.3.0 to 8.3.7. Yeah, and other services as well. Also down here, we see service info, host, Metasploitable, whatnot. So these are all very useful information. And what next for me? Yeah, we guessed it, screenshots. Very, very, very important that you take screenshots of your findings. This will help you report this accurately. So I'm going to take this screenshot. Always ensure to take a screenshot of all. You can choose to copy and paste if you want. Service version probe. All right. So this is what I have now. And the next thing I'm going to do, I just want to show one more flag before we go ahead to try and exploit any of these services. I'm going to show one more flag. And this flag is the -A. So what -A does, it does, I think it's either 3-in-1 or 4-in-1. So it does OS scan, OS detection, it does service version detection, it does SC, I think that's a script scan, and it also does trace route. So let's just look at this, the output of this. This is one flag that you see almost all cybersecurity pen testers, professionals out there use, because this gives you like a whole lot of information on the target. Gives you more information, like trace routes. It tells you how your service talks. Sorry, your server talks to the network. The route it takes to reach, your router, for example. So within that trace route, you can find out other machines in between that it talks to before it gets to your router. Yeah, so we're going to start from, okay, let's just go to the top. So you can see now we have more information compared to the other time because it tries to enumerate the services further, these open services as well. So you can see there are a whole lot of information here. A whole lot. You can see here port 21 for FTP. Yeah, before we continue, let me just take a screenshot. Oh no, sorry. No, that's the wrong screenshot. All right, let's just take this screenshot. And we'll go ahead and exploit one of these services. -A option to enumerate the open ports folder. All right. So now we can see more information. You can see here, this FTP server allows anonymous login. And what anonymous login is, you can just log into an FTP server using the username anonymous and no password. So as simple as that. That's what this means. And this is a critical vulnerability. Imagine you're storing customer data in your server and you allow anonymous login. It means anyone from anywhere can just go there, take your files and just leave. All right, we also see OpenSSH with SSH host keys. You see more information about this. See SMTP. SMTP is a simple messaging protocol for emails. And we see this as well. See more information on how it was configured. We also see versions of this ISC bind, Apache, which is our web server that's currently running. We see RPC. What else? MySQL, our database also. We see a whole lot. So remember, we have 2 hosts running within this network. So we can also use this for whatever host you discover. Use the same scripts, the same commands that you already have. You can see this script is running against an SMB server, which is on port 443. Sorry, not 443. Let me just scroll back to where it is. On 445, yeah. And 139. So this is SMB, just file sharing, basically. Yeah, so that's it. So what I'm going to do next now is, let's try and brute force. Yes, Nmap can brute force services for you. Nmap can do that. But before I brute force services, I'm just going to create like a word list, a very simple word list, because I don't want it to take so much time. So I'm going to create one, user.text. I'm going to add admin. So a word list is just a list containing usernames. That's all. I'm going to add MSF admin. I'm going to add, I'll just add my name. And one more, just to make it 5. I'm going to add, what else? User. Yes. I'm going to save this file. And also, I'm going to create a password list. I'll just call it pass. So a password list is something that contains list of known passwords. Pass 1, 2, 3, password 1, 2, 3, MSF admin, and admin 1, 2, 3. So these are just common passwords that you can think of. But before I go ahead and use these lists, these 2 lists, pass and user.txt, I'm going to move this to, sorry, I just want to clean up my desktop, move it to documents. All right, so I have these 2 lists here. I also have another one here, but Kali also gives you a word list, and you can find them here, USR, share word list. Yeah, you can find them in here. So these are a whole lot of word lists you can use. They contain each one can contain over 60,000 files, because, there are breaches that happen from year to year. And there are people that compile these lists, and, Kali also gets them and puts them in all of these files, because these are tools that you're going to be using while pen testing. You can see some of them here, John, Metasploit, W4s, directory buster, to brute force directories and things like that. You can even see Nmap list here. But the reason I don't want to use any of these lists is because they contain a whole lot of information, and it's going to take time for this enumeration or exploiting that service to complete. All right, so what I want to do next now is I'm going to go back to my home directory. I think it was in documents. Yeah, I have my user list here. And I'm going to run the nmap command again. I just want to show you something. This time, let's run it against our second host, 192.168.56.102. Remember, the first one was 103. So I'm going to run this against our host, and I'll add the -sv for service version. I'm going to leave out the -a so the screen is not cluttered. Let's run this and see what we find. This is going to take a bit more time because this is the first time we're running Nmap against this target specifically to find out the versions that are running on this machine or server, whichever one you choose to call it. And while that's running, I'm going to, so you can see similarly we have some known ports that are open here. Now let's try to brute force this SSH1. I'm going to edit my user list just to include the username of that machine because I know it, but in the real world, if you most likely you're not going to know it. So what's going to happen is the word list I showed is what you're going to use to brute force that target. So you can find out, you can get the username easily. All right, so I'm just going to confirm something. All right. So now I want to brute force the SSH service, like I said. And to brute force it, it's a very simple command. I'm going to use nmap again, -p is to specify the port of the service that we're running. Just one quick confirmation again, just to ensure that, is it possible to pipe the output for this file? Oh, for record purpose. All right, yeah. Why are we targeting this IP 102 and 103? So we're targeting these IPs because there are servers or hosts that we know or that we discovered while running the first Nmap scan. So we are targeting them because they are servers, and we want to test these servers to ensure that there are no vulnerabilities there. And we do that testing by first scanning, then trying to exploit. We scan, we enumerate, and then we try to exploit. So there are still other steps after exploiting. There's post-exploitation and all of that. But those other steps are for, they are more advanced because you need to know how to create listeners. You need to know how to, maintain persistence in a server. But basically, exploiting is usually one of the first steps or one of the first things you do. So we're scanning 102 and 103 because they are hosts on the network that responded with open ports. So we're after those open ports to find vulnerabilities in them. Is it possible to pipe it, please? I don't understand this because, I'm so sorry about that, Michael, but just please try to follow along as much as possible. I believe the recording will still be out there so you can always rewatch and if you can, make sense of what you see or what you're seeing here today. So what I'm going to do is, Binibi, I'm going to try and compile all of the commands I've used today, and I'll give them to the admin so they can as well share this alongside the slide and all of that. So let's just do without piping these commands for now. All right, so I'm going to run an nmap scan to brute force port 22, which is SSH. And to do that, I'm going to use the option --script. Now, this might look a bit too much, but I'm going to show you how I got this because I don't know this by heart. I know how to do it, but I don't know all the scripts by heart. So I'm going to show how to. You can easily Google this to get it. This is the SSH brutes, which is brute forcing SSH services. I'm going to specify another script with arguments because I'm going to pass arguments, like passing those word lists that I just generated for you now. I'm going to pass those arguments, and Nmap will use it to brute force the service on port 22, which is SSH. And one of the arguments I'm going to be passing is the user, and the user DB is just a placeholder to hold my script, my word list, which is user.txt, I believe. Then I'm going to use a comma to separate this and do pass DB, which is password to hold the password list, word list. Then lastly, I'm just going to specify my target, which is 192.168.56.102, 102 or 103, either one works. So again, before I hit enter, let me just explain the command. Nmap-p will specify the ports for SSH. If I scroll to the top here, you can see SSH is running on port 22. It's running on port 22. And the name of the service is OpenSSH 7.6.p1. All right, so I'm going to go back down here. And yeah, the -- script is another flag. So we're going to use this flag to specify the flags or the flag or specific scripts that I want to use and brute force this service, which is SSH on port 22. And yeah, the name of that script is SSH-brute. Next up is I'm specifying, because I need arguments, because I need to tell Nmap, use this set of word lists, the user.txt and pass.txt to brute force SSH, because typically SSH needs username and password. So I am going to use this other flag, script-args, because I'm passing an argument, which is userdb to hold the user.txt file and passdb to hold the password file. And finally, my target IP. So Nmap also takes domain name as well. If you put a domain name in place of this IP, Nmap would also recognize that it can resolve it for you. So I'm just going to copy this command. I want to quickly show you where the Nmap scripts are stored. And they are stored in cd user share Nmap, where we went to the other time, and scripts. If I list out the content, you can see a whole lot of scripts, a whole lot. Let me quickly show you the one we're using, which is this ssh-brute.nse. All right. I just wanted to show this. You can see there is a whole lot, HTTP trace route. You can use this to enumerate any service that you find vulnerabilities in. You actually use this to find vulnerabilities as well. It's not that there must be a vulnerability there, or you know that there's a vulnerability there. We don't know that there are vulnerabilities, so we use these scripts to test. All right, which is something also the -a flag does for you. If you remember when you use Nmap against the targets with -a, it comes here to use some of these scripts to test that target. So I'm going to go back to my home directory, documents, and now I'll paste this command again and hit enter. So now let's wait for Nmap to brute force the service SSH running on port 22. Okay, so you can see what it is doing. All right. So you can see here, all right, so let me just go back up here. And another thing I'm going to do is take a screenshot, because it's good to take notes. I'll just, yeah. Okay. SSH brute force. Yeah, using Nmap. All right, we go back here. Let's explain the output of what we're seeing. So NSE means Nmap scripting engine. That's what this NSE means. And it's currently using this script, this NSE script, SSH brute, and it's trying username / password pair, which is admin is the username and admin is the password. Then it goes to the next one, super admin, MSF admin, tries this, gremlin. That's how it keeps trying it, keeps trying everything, keeps trying the combination till it finds something. So you can see the output down here because it's able to find something. You can see SSH root, account, gremlin, password, valid credentials, and see how long it took this to go in 8 seconds. So you can see how the total is 20.8. It took 8 seconds to find this with 26 guesses because of the word list is small. But if you have a bigger word list, it will take more time. So this is like 20.61 seconds total. So you can see how effective this tool is and how, no matter how basic it is, it's still a very, very powerful tool that professionals use out there on a day-to-day basis. Let's just scroll up and see where it found this combination, gremlin and password. Gremlin, we can see gremlin, okay, so see where it found it. And this should be like the 26th or the 25th try. And it found the username and password. So still go ahead and try the others, but it's not going to be a finding. And yes, let me take screenshots of this again because it is a finding and we have to report this. So the essence of taking screenshots is to help you build your notes later on. Valid username and password found. All right, so next up is, now we found this credential, what can we do really? You know, we would go ahead and connect to this service. Let's try and connect, and we can easily connect using SSH. The username, which is this, gremlin, at the IP address of that server, which is 192.168.56.102. This is how we connect. It's as easy as simple as this. We hit enter, it asks us for the password to this machine, and we type in password. So now note that when you're typing in the password, nothing displays. That's one of the security configurations in Linux systems. So I'll just type in the password, just ensure you're typing it correctly, and hit enter. And you can see I have access to this server on the network. So we'll take a screenshot of this as well, because this is a valid finding. Let's capture the IP address as well. Gained access to a server on the network via SSH. All right, so we have that noted down. Then from here on, this is where other steps of pen testing applies, like your persistence, creating services there, backdoors, so that you can always connect to this service. Because what happens when they patch this service, when they properly configure the SSH to use keys rather than password, then you no longer have access to the server. So you have to create backdoors, but all of those things are how attackers work. And time will not permit us to show that. So now you're here, you can check what's on the server. You can do who am I? Can I log in as root? These are things that you check. Let's try that. Now you see I am root. So So imagine gaining root access to a company server, what you can do. All right, so I'm going to exit from here and just show one last one, which is the FTP service. So I don't even need a script like this to brute force FTP. Let me scroll back up to FTP. So FTP here is on server 103. So let me copy this IP address. And I can see a vulnerability here already because it says it allows anonymous login. So let's try and log in. Let's try and log in using anonymous. So to log into an FTP server is very simple. Let me just stop. Is it possible? Okay, I think I already read that. What was the password? Oh, the password was password. So it's a vulnerable server. It was poorly configured. So we have like it's just for home labs for you to test and understand how pen testing works. So it's a server I made, so I poorly configured it so I can easily do this demo because having to brute force for passwords will take a long time. So I had to put something very simple such as password. Okay, so to connect to an FTP service, all I need to do is type the command FTP and paste in the IP. That's all. Now it asks me for a username, saying connected to this. What's the username I want to use? I'll type in anonymous. I hope I spelled this right. Please specify the password. I'm not going to type anything. I'll just hit enter. So you can see login successful. Let me just take a screenshot of this. Yeah. So ensure you take notes. Your notes can be more detailed than what I have here. FTP allowed, anonymous, login. All right, so there are a lot of things I can do here, check help, so I can see the commands I can use. I think there is ls. I'll type ls, and all right, entering command in passive mode. Here comes directory listing. Sorry, directory listed. I can do dir as well. There is nothing here. What can I do? So there are just a lot of things that you can do on this terminal. Just exit from here, to open file, because there are not so many files on this server, so there's not much you can do. There are still some things we can do with FTP. If there are files, we can extract the files, we can create files, we can modify, we can delete, we can do a whole lot of things. So yeah, these are some of the findings. There are still other services there that we can go ahead, and almost all of the services that are open there are vulnerable, so we can easily exploit them. There is one very, very, very good tool that I would also suggest you look at. The name of the tool is MSF Console. It's a very good tool for exploiting vulnerabilities as well. So what have we learned so far? We have learned how to enumerate services enumerate services running on a virtual machine or on a server. We've learned how to enumerate and exploit, how to scan an entire network. We've learned how to use NSE scripts. We've learned how to take notes and a whole lot of things that you've all picked up from this session. The key takeaway is to ensure you do this ethically, ensure you prepare a report, ensure you give recommendations. That's how they can remediate these vulnerabilities and these services. Ensure you tell them not to open so many ports, and things like that. Ensure that you patch the services, the open ports. If they are running on a vulnerable version, ensure you update it. So these are things that you have to, feedbacks that you have to give to the company alongside your reports, because they might engage you again next time to help them test. Hopefully they pay you for your service, even if you did the first one for free. So there are so many opportunities within the cybersecurity space, but you first have to learn the fundamentals, the basics, and all of that. So with that being said, I don't know if there are quick questions that I can answer before I hand over to Chukwuemeka. Can we all confirm that you can hear me, please? And if you followed up until now. Yeah, definitely. Samuel, you're going to get the recording at the end of the class or this. Yeah, I would love to have seen how to get a password. Yeah, I did show that. Let me go back to this other screen. This is how we got the password using this command. Let me take the screen to this other side. All right, so this is how we got the password. We used Nmap to brute force the port 22 using a word list against this server. And you can see what Nmap is doing here. It's trying a username/password pair, admin. So it's trying to use it to log into to see if it's a valid credential for this service. Sorry, this machine running this service, SSH on port 22. So it keeps trying. This is the valid username and password here. But it keeps trying everything in the word list. And at the end, it reports the finding to you. You can see here, port 22, which is open, and SSH brute force. These are the accounts that were successful. Gremlin and password, which is a valid credential, or these are valid credentials that you can use to log in. All right, so someone says, yes, but what role do Kali Linux play in this programming? This is not programming per se, or do you mean program? So as a cybersecurity professional, you're going to be using Kali or Linux in general. Kali is just a version or a type of Linux OS. There is Ubuntu and the likes of them. So Kali is one for pen testers. It's an operating system that was built for pen testers. So this is what pen testers use. The higher you go, you can get your own Linux, any Linux version at all, and configure it to what you want. There are various Linux flavors out there, Arch Linux, Red Hat, Ubuntu. Yes, you can do this on Ubuntu. So you can install Nmap on Ubuntu. It's very easy to do that. You would use the command sudo apt install Nmap. That's all. And it will install Nmap for you. So Linux is same everywhere, just slight differences in their command. So yeah, it's a very, very good tool to learn about Kali, because Kali has a whole lot of tools, a whole lot. You can see all the tools here even for defense, for forensics, reporting tools. You can see under reporting tools, I have Cherry Tree, which is what I use to take my screenshots. You can see for wireless attacks, for password attacks, databases, for web applications, vulnerability, information gathering. There are a whole lot of tools here. So learning how to use most of these tools, like a good number of these tools, would increase your chances of landing a job out there. And is it only servers that can be scanned? Can individual applications be scanned? I mean, like front. Okay, so unfortunately, no, you can't scan applications using Nmap. Nmap is basically for servers and routers, switches, your network devices. It has to do with physical devices, to scan those devices and find open ports on them and services. So for you to scan applications, this is what you would have to, in this web application section, say Bob Shield, Comics, SQL Map, the VP Scan. So these are tools you can use to work with web applications. You don't use Nmap to work with web applications. Yeah. All right. I would hand over to Chukwuemeka. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ekene. I hope we're able to grasp one or two things while he was talking. Please, if we heard Ekene, if we understood or if we learned something, just drop a reaction to show that you actually, followed him through. Whether you understood or not, just drop a reaction for him because it's not easy to walk us through this within that short period of time. Okay, I can't see any reaction. Is it that people didn't follow? I can see only Judith, and I can also see Samuel. Okay, are there any other person on this call, people that heard what Ekene had to say? Or is just Ekene was just speaking to himself? Okay, I can see the chat box. A couple of people mentioned that they would love to also have this recording. Please make sure that you fill the attendance form because that's what we are going to use to send the recording of this exact class to everyone. Okay, please fill the attendance form and you are going to get both the recording and the slide and everything that we use for this session. Okay, thank you so much, Ekene. So we can actually see that it is not as hard as we thought that it's going to be. Okay, is it hard? No. Is it easy? No. It simply means that you have to put in the effort to end deals. Okay, and because of the increase in so many vulnerabilities out there in the world, cybersecurity analysts are required on day-to-day basis. Okay, you can simply see the World Report, a Pakistan man charged with cybercrime linked to riots in Britain. Same thing happening in Switzerland, same thing happening in US, same thing happening in several places, which means there is need for more people in this exact industry. Also, you can see that Africa is actually the worst hit as cyber attacks surge 30% globally, which means we are in a position to be able to milk the opportunities that are going to come out from cybersecurity. So if you want to position yourself to be able to get hold of this exact industry and be able to, get income from it, now is the best time for you to say, this is what you want to get into. Remember, Nmap is not the first thing you will be learning. So you might be worried, oh, I didn't learn anything from this exact class. It looks tedious and so on and so forth. You'll be worked from basic level to expert level. So you'll be started from ground zero so you can be able to do most of these activities yourself. So from the reports that we have here, the job outlook, in 2023 alone, the monetary damage that cybercrime caused just US alone, it's around 21% increase year over year, okay? And that amounted to close to 12.5 billion US dollars. So this can tell you that no company wants to lose the money. And these are actually the people that reported losses. Because what happens most time in this our industry is that if I'm attacked, most people, they prefer to keep short than reporting it. Because if I attack that I was attacked, if I report that I was attacked, there's tendency that customers are going to lose faith in my service. But yet we had 12.5 billion US dollar loss just in 2023. And that simply meant that we have over 1 million plus jobs available for cybersecurity guys. And we have less than 400,000 true cybersecurity experts, which means there are enough roles out there for people to be able to live and break into this exact industry. So don't feel that, oh, this is not for you. And there are several domains that also exist there. You have your digital forensics analyst and investigator. You have your pen tester. You have application tester. You have security analyst, that's your SOC analyst. You have your cyber defender and several others. So it's not just the technical aspect alone. There are other aspects that also speak towards the non-technical aspect of cybersecurity. Okay, so even if you don't want to be in the area where you have to be doing the technical things, it can also be in GRC. So GRC is more of governance, risk, and compliance, and basically they ensure alignment with all the framework and all the policies that people in cybersecurity are meant to abide with. You also have your research analysts that basically they have to research roles in cybersecurity, in the emerging threats, and being able to report that this is what is in vogue at the moment. You have the user access managers, people that make sure if someone new is coming to a company that they have the work class that will allow them to have access to the data that they're supposed to have. You have your security awareness trainers, and of course, your social engineers. So there are several non-technical roles that exist there. In cybersecurity, we'll have the red team and we'll have the blue team. Red team is more of the attack-minded individuals, okay, that are focused on simulating attacks to test the defenses that is already existing. While the blue team is focused on building defenses to make sure that the attackers doesn't penetrate. So it is a team effort, because if the blue team builds defense and someone from red team is able to penetrate them, it simply means that the defense is weak. Okay, it means that the defense is weak, and we have to patch up that exact system, and that is how both team helps. But I also have the purple team, people that are in between both of them. So how can you get into this exact career path? How can you get into this career path? So what we do is we walk you through these key learning areas that you can see on my screen, starting with foundations of computing and networking, right? So you're going to be walked through both your WAN, your LAN, and your subnet and others. And then you move into introduction to cybersecurity, history, evolution of cybersecurity, and then before information security principles. So you can see that information security principle, which is the CIA triad, is even the number 13 that you get to learn in cybersecurity. Before you now start moving into offensive and defensive cybersecurity, cryptographic basics, cyber threat and attack vectors, and others. So if you walk through all these key learning points, and it's not just theoretical. So our classes are structured in a way that it is project-based learning. Okay, so what I mean by project-based learning is that the same way Ekene just came up and used project-based aspect to teach us Nmap, that's the same way you're going to be having project-based learning with respect to any of the key learning areas that you're going to be having access to. When you're talking about your security and SOC analyst, you're going to be having access to how you can use Fortinet with respect to firewalls, how you learn Snort, and of course, Splunk. Okay, and then we'll talk about endpoint protection, looking at your Microsoft Defender, and then of course, Nmap when you talk about your vulnerability scanners. So the same way, you have tools that are assigned to each of these key learning areas. And that's the best way that you can be able to learn perfectly the cybersecurity career path. And the learning timeline is for 4 months. Okay, the learning timeline is for 4 months. So you learn immersively in the classroom for 3 months, and then you have an internship experience where you work on other real life projects for 1 month. So the class holds every Saturday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time, and then the evening class, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time. Then on Sundays, you get what we call the short-paced watch me do it video. Okay, that's going to introduce you into deeper concepts with respect to cybersecurity. So it's a 3-way based learning. You have your live classes, you have your watch me do it video, and also you have the recorded version of the classes uploaded. Okay, which means even if you miss a class, you still have access to the recorded version of that class. The same way we are going to send the recorded version of this session to everyone, that's the same way the recorded version of the classes are also uploaded to the Google Classroom. For instance, let me just do a little bit of digress and show us the Google Classroom. Yes, it's 100% online class AV. So everything is fully online. I mean, we are a global company. If you joined earlier, you'd have noticed that we have people joining from US, people joining from Canada, people joining from UK, people joining from Africa, and so many countries. So it's fully 100% online. Okay, so let me just dive into the classroom and show us a little bit of what happened. So when you join, you have access to a Google Classroom as well. Okay, yours will just be one. So because I'm an admin, that's why I have access to several other classes. Okay, so this is cybersecurity September cohorts, all right? So if you click on it, you're going to see everything that they've been able to walk through from the beginning of their classes, from the onboarding sessions. The onboarding session is recorded so that even if you missed it, you still have access to the onboarding session. So we also have what we call drop-in sessions that happen during the week. So after classes on Saturdays, we'll have drop-in sessions within the week that, you were trying to practice what happened before, but you were not able to go through it. We'll have drop-in sessions where you can also come in and your questions will be taken. So you can see the first class they had, Introduction to Computing. They are going to see the assignments they were given, they were also graded. This is the video of that exact class, okay? And they had it as far back as September 7, okay? And you have lifetime access to this class. You have lifetime access to it, which means forever and ever. You can always come back here and revisit any of the videos in case you are forgetting some principles. Then you also have the slide for that exact class also uploaded here for you to see. So that's how every single thing you are having in your class will always be here. Then along the line, you'll be separated into groups for you to be having a live interaction with people also, where you are working with your colleagues to achieve a common goal. Then you have everything and so on and so forth. Everything you'll be having will be here. Then I know someone asked earlier, how do I install Kali? How do I do this? How do I do that? We also have all those links initially here so that at the beginning of each session, at the beginning of each tool that they have to use, they are walked through. This is how you need to download this. This is how you need to install this so that when you come to class, you can easily flow there. And of course, the mentorship sessions are also there. CV review sessions, which I also touched, are also here. And then, of course, extra resources. So this is just the Google Classroom that they all have access to. Then on the learning management system, which I will also show us. Sorry, what am I typing? On learning management system, which I also show us, you get to see the ample videos that are also uploaded here for you to be able to go deeper into other concepts and watch it fully. Okay, so when you join, you have access to this learning management system also, and you have access to just one class. Okay, so let me go to cybersecurity. Have access to just one class. Okay, yeah. Sorry, my system is a little bit lagging. Okay, so because I have several admin logins here, finding it difficult to get to the live class session. Okay, but when you join, you have access to the live classes as well, where you have other videos to also help you with respect to what you need to learn. And remember, it is lifetime access, both the classroom and also the learning management system, for you to be able to fully grasp everything that you need to know. Okay, so I don't know if there are people that are still listening to me to this very moment. Okay, if you're still here, please hang on. We're almost towards the ending. Now, how can you be able to transition within 4 months? How can you make this happen? A lot of people always ask, is it possible? So what we do first is for you to identify your desired tech career path. So I assume that everybody on this call have already made the decision to be in cybersecurity. Okay. And then next thing is for you to register and learn the skills. So like I said before, tech ecosystem is fully competence over credentials, 100% competence over credentials. Whether you're coming with the highest certification ever, if you do not have the competence with respect to the skills and the tools, nobody's going to hire you. Then next is, how do you learn? It's fully by using the project-based aspect, which is going to enable you to have real-life interaction with the data and be able to see how it speaks to you. And then next is employability skills, networking, and mentorship. So I'll still get fully into this area. So all this always seems impossible until it is done. We have a couple of people that have been able to switch. Abigail has been able to move from being a care worker into entering business analytics, Toyin from being a pharmacist into entering a benefit analyst role, and so many others. Okay, so make sure that you fill the attendance form so that personally on your own, you can go through all the stories that people that have walked through our program had to say. So from there, you can now comfortably be able to see what they had to say. So we have a lot of success stories. We'll have a lot of success stories. Like I said, it is just a straight line approach. First, we'll have someone on this call. Possibly we have AV. AV just joined and AV say, oh, hi guys, my name is AV and I am a teacher. Next thing is for AV to say, oh, I want to be a cybersecurity. Then number 2 is for AV to register and then gain the project-based experience. Then he will have also the employability skills that will provide, network with everyone, and also be mentored. Within 4 months, AV is going to come out again and say, hi guys, my name is AV and I'm a cybersecurity analyst. So it is not hard and it is not easy. It all boils down to this is what you want to achieve. Someone today was asking me in a clarity call whether cybersecurity is a hard course. What I told him is, because at the moment I think he's doing a no offense, a construction or a warehouse job. So he said that he doesn't want to be here anymore. So I asked him a simple question: what's the opportunity cost for you not registering here? It means that in the next couple of years, maybe 5 years, 10 years down the line, you are going to still be in either construction or warehouse job. Now, what is the plan? Is it for you to, suffer the skin at this moment and gain the skill, or to remain in where you are, and then 3, 4, 5 years down the line, you are tired of being there? So I always tell everyone that the best time to transition is always when our bones are still strong, so that we can be able to do this easily. And as a cybersecurity person, you have access to applying to some of these roles. So under cybersecurity, there are so many derivatives like SOC analyst, information security analyst, network security engineer, pen tester, cyber threat analyst, vulnerability analyst, and so much more, even GRC, that's security compliance analyst, right? So you are not just limited to just looking for roles as a cybersecurity person. So it allows you to be able to have opportunity to go into the other aspect of cybersecurity. And like I mentioned, it is simple for you to land a job offer. So for the last 4 years, the winning formula that we use is simply technical skill plus employability skill. That is what's going to give you the job offer. Technical skill plus employability skill. And what are the employability skills that you need? Number one is CV review session. Okay, because you've learned the technical aspect. How do you match your CV to fit the job that you're trying to apply to? Okay, like I mentioned, when you have knowledge of Nmap, can easily be able to function with other scanning tools outside there. But if the maybe the job you're applying to said we need someone with a Nexus understanding, and what you know is Nmap, can you quickly switch your CV and package it in a way that it will look like you have all the skills that are looking for, so that you can even comfortably apply to that role? So this is what we put people through, and also provide you with the CV template that suits this exact cybersecurity. The next one is LinkedIn optimization session. So how do you position yourself in a way that recruiters will be reaching out to you? How do you make this to happen? Is by making sure that your profile is optimized. So walk students through how they can be able to do all these things. And then Upwork sessions where you'll be taught how to leverage the freelance market with respect to landing roles. And how do you navigate the job market? This is very, very critical, because you might have the skills, you might have the employability skill as well, but do you even know where to see jobs from? So what we do is we also bring in expert recruiters back to the classroom to walk our students through how they can be able to navigate job markets. What job boards are out there? Is it just LinkedIn? No. There is Wellfound, there's read.co.uk, there's remote.co, a lot of other job boards. So these are things that we put students through in the employee sessions also. And of course, job and interview prep sessions. When you land an interview invite, we are available to prep you for interview. Okay, using the sit and start framework, how do you answer situation-based question, which is your situation, your task, your action, and your result? For instance, maybe Ekene went for an interview and they asked him, "Why, Ekene, please tell me about the time in the past where I've been able to use Nmap to scan for vulnerabilities." So he can comfortably say, while I was consulting with analytics, I worked on so and so project where I was assigned to, scan this IP address. And the actions I took was this. I had to use the dash small letter S, capital V for me to know the version of the device I'm trying to scan. And so many things. You list the actions that you took and then the results also, saying that in the end, you were able to notice that the IP was compromised and so on and so forth, and you were able to recommend these to them. So when you speak in such constructed manner, you have boxed your interviewers into asking you further questions from what you've already given them. Okay, but once you answer vague questions vaguely and you're not able to give constructive responses, that's the point where they keep throwing you several other questions. And also, we provide you with recommendation and reference letters. Like I mentioned, you are working on real life case studies, which means at any point that you need a recommendation letter for the next employer, we are available to provide it for you. Then weekly mentorship sessions also happens, where you're mentored on how do you even remove inferiority complex, How do you remove the so many syndromes that we all face these days? How do you position yourself? How do you package yourself? And then on the job support, that when you land a job, we're also available to support you 1 month till you find your fitting. And all this is to guarantee you at least one job interview when you are done training with us. Please, I hope people are still following me. Let me check the chat box to see if there's any critical thing for me to answer. Okay. Tino answered yes. Amazing. Okay, I can see what Lydia, my colleague, dropped. Please, guys, make sure that you fill the attendance form. Please, it's very, very crucial because that's what guarantees you to have access to the slide and also to the recording. That personally, you can go through it and be able to have a deeper understanding of what we are talking about. Okay, so moving on, this is the learning management system that I've already shown us and other success stories of people. Okay, this happened a couple of months back. I just got a job. And we also have sessions where we bring in past students to come back to class and talk to people. Okay, we have this on how I secured a job, after training with analytics, and so much more. So please, you can also, get the slide, click on watch here, and you have access to being able to see it. Is there any resource aside recorded sessions? So you are getting the recorded session and this slide. Okay, Oluwasami. You're getting the recorded session and this slide as well. And also there you can now see other resources that is inside it, where you can now click on several of them to watch what other people had to say. So these are all success stories of people from the past and how they've been able to move into their new roles. So the amazing thing is our next cohort is starting next week, Saturday, which is 2nd November, 2024. And we have an amazing discount for you. Okay, so we always have so we have a 20% discount for the first 20 people to join. And at the moment, I can tell you that it is not up to 20 anymore, right? We have 20 slots that is already 75% gone. So I advise you to be able to register, because once that spot is filled, the price goes back to the initial amount, which is $750. So the full amount is $750, but it's discounted to $600 for the first people to register. And how can you register? So once you click on the link that my colleagues are going to drop, you have access to the Analytics Enrollment Center, right? You have access to the Analytics Enrollment Center. And what you have to do is simply scroll down and look for the course you want to register for. Scroll down and look for the course that you want to register for. So right here, it's still loading. Just a moment. Once it's done loading, you are going to see the enrollment center that you will have access to and comfortably see all the courses that we offer, and then select the one that speaks well to you. And I believe that most of us here, we are after cybersecurity. So simply scroll down and click on cybersecurity. Okay, this is taking a while. Just a moment, please. It's not supposed to be like this. Have I been attacked? I don't know. I don't know whether Ikene is attacking my system. Okay, but it's still loading. That's a lot more. All right, but once you click on that link, it's going to bring you to the Analytics Enrollment Center. And if you scroll down, you see that you have the option to make payments one-off, or you have the option to make payments twice, or you can also make payment 3 times, which means if your first payment is today, 24th of October, your next payment will be expected by 24th of November, and then your last payment will be by 24th of December. So either you make the 600 payments one-off, or you pay 300 today and 300 next month, or you pay 200 today, 200 next month, and 200 the next month as well. So you have the option to make it instrumental-wise for you to be able to make it easier for yourself. And also there's opportunity for you to defer, which means if you register now and you don't want to start in November, you can say, okay, you want to start by December. So the benefit of it is that you lock down the existing price, that even by December, if there's any price action, it's not going to affect you, okay? Because you've locked it down at the existing price that you were given it to. So I always advise people, even if you have something that you're currently doing and you want to break in, but you don't want to start now, secure your spots first, and then you can have the option to defer it by 1 month. I don't know if there's any question at this point, so that I can take a couple of questions within these few minutes before we start rounding up. Any question from anyone before we start rounding up? You can drop it in the chat box, or you can also use the raise hand icon, and I will call you up to speak to us. Okay, please, if you have any question, you can drop it in the chat box, or you can also use the raise hand icon, and I'll call you up to speak. Please, let's, utilize this opportunity fully. Any question from anyone? Any question from anyone? Please feel free to ask me any question. Don't think the question is not great or is not important. Please ask the question that you have in your mind, and we are going to address it. If you want to raise your hand, just look through. You should be able to see the option for you to raise your hand, and I will call you up to speak. I still have a lot of people on the call who have Abimbola, Ajiri, Avi, Bella, Claire, David, Demi, Evans, Everest, Frederick, Habib, Henrietta, Ibrahim, Princess, Jacqueline, Jason, Johnson, King, Michael, Misk, Elufuwoju. I'm sorry if I murdered your name. Oluchi, Oluwafemi, Oluwasanmi, Osabute, Susan, and then Sylvester and Tino. Please feel free to ask your question so that we will be able to take it and address any challenge that you are having so that you can be able to break into this industry. Okay, so the floor is yours. Is there no question from anyone? Is there no question from anyone? That's surprising. Can I combine to learn? Okay, I think I need to, let me open it clearly. Can I combine to learn two skills, example, data analysis and cybersecurity together, and which one should come first? Amazing. Okay, so you can actually decide that you want to learn both, but you have to choose the one that is going to be the first, like you mentioned. So it's down to you to know. We have to look at your technical background to see the one that you can easily break into. For instance, if you have IT skills already, you have networking experience and things like that, you can easily say, okay, start from cybersecurity. But if we've noticed that, you've had experience with maybe Excel, Power BI, can easily direct you towards the data side. So we need to look at your background fully, Oluwafemi, and be able to give you a constructive response from that. Okay, so what we do is within the week, we always have clarity calls. Okay, so in the clarity calls, we tend to answer questions looking at people's background and then giving advice from what their background looks like. Okay, so if you have questions pertaining to maybe it's just peculiar to you, want to look at your background to find the career path that fits you. Okay, so just be on the lookout in your WhatsApp groups that you came through, and then you will see that link for you to book a one-on-one consultation. It's free consultation. It's free 100% clarity call where we address the challenge that you're having. Is this course for beginners? Because I don't have experience before, Michael. So 100% Michael, it is for beginners, right? So the course is for beginners. It is 100% for beginners. So everything you will be learning is from ground zero to intermediate level. For you to be an expert, you need to be currently on a role. You need to constantly be working on jobs for you to be able to say, oh, I'm an expert. But we're going to put you through all those key learning areas that I've talked about that is going to help you break into the industry and be able to land roles. Okay, I have experience in Excel. I have national diploma in computer science. Fantastic, Oluwafemi. So it simply means that you are cut across several tracks. You can decide to go through data. You can decide to go through cybersecurity. Because for you to have background in computer science, I want to believe that you have understanding of networking and others. But 100%, even if you do not have that basic knowledge, we always teach from basic level to expert level, okay? We'll teach from basic level to intermediate level for you to be able to have an experience of it. And it is not just the technical aspects. So inside cybersecurity, myself, I'm a GRC person, which means I'm not as technical as Ekene is. But when it comes to the compliance aspect of it, count me 100% in. Okay, so but you need to have the general understanding so that when you need to build frameworks, you will be able to speak with respect to them from a technical perspective. Okay, for Nigerians, what platform is there for payment in Naira? Fantastic, fantastic. So when you click on that main stack link also, I don't know why it is not coming up. When you click on the main stack link also as well, that's for Oluwasanmi. Please, if you are in Nigeria, just scroll down, and you would see the option for you to make payments in Naira. Okay, you see the option for you to make payments in Naira. Once you click on it, you also see the equivalent as it is. I mean, Naira is currently dancing. You see the equivalent as it is, and you can easily make payments with that exact link. Okay, just scroll down and you will see it. I want to, troubleshoot this and know why it is not coming up from my page. But my colleagues have dropped the link for you to be able to access it from your own site. Okay, I need a laptop for this, right? That's from Juliet, 100% Juliet. So you need a laptop. So for the course, remember, it is 100% live. You need two things for you to be able to do this. One is internet connection, okay? And number two is a laptop. Any laptop that is 4 gig RAM, 8 gig RAM rather, and above should be able to 100% handle this fully, okay? Should be able to 100% handle this fully. I don't know if there's any other question from anyone before we start rounding up for tonight. Any question from anyone? Remember, the discount is for the first 20 people. And at the moment, the 20 slot is already close to 75% gone. So remember, you can have the option for your instrumental payment where you can easily make $200 first, make $200 next month, and then $200 by December. This is to help you to break it into ways that it will be easier for you. Ways that it will be easier for you. So I think there's another question that just dropped. Please give me configuration of laptop and the type of internet connectivity stable for this course. So like I mentioned, Oluwafemi, need laptop at least 8 gigabytes and above, and at least it will have maybe 256 to 500 or any memory. But once it has 8 gigabytes, it should be able to run. I'm sure any laptop that is 8 gigabytes will definitely be more than Core i3. Okay, so Oluwafemi just asked for any laptop that is 8 gigabytes and above. It should be able to run it. Bella, the link is not opening. The link is not opening. So Bella, so just a moment so that I'll be sure. Okay, just a moment. Okay, just try again, Bella. Right, just try again. You should be able to open right now from your side. Okay, so let me quickly also walk us through how the payments works, like I've just mentioned, because we've been able to troubleshoot it, and it's currently up at the moment. Okay, so once you click on the link, it's going to bring you to this Tenacity Enrollment Center. So what you have to do at this point is to scroll down. Scroll down. If you are in any country aside Nigeria, scroll down and you will see the option for you to register for cybersecurity here. Okay, if you're in Nigeria, you can scroll down more and go to NGN installments link. Scroll down to the end and you'd see NGN installments link. But every other person, if you want to make payments with your currency of where you are domiciled, just simply click on register for CS. So it will bring you to this page, which is the checkout page. So what you have to do at this point is to select whether you want to make a one-off payment or whether you want to make the payment twice or whether you want to make the payment 3 times. Okay. Once you select it, if you now have the place where you fill in your details and pay for products. Once you click on it, it's going to bring this up for you. It's coming up shortly. It's coming up shortly. All right, you can see that it is in USD, but it is the equivalent of where you are joining from. So you can decide that you want to make $600 straight one off, or $300 2 months, or $200 3 months. So once you click on it, just click on proceed to pay. So it's showing you that the first amount is due today, next one will be due November 24th, and the last one December 24th. Once you click on proceed, it will bring up the option for you to fill in your details and pay for products. So as simple as that, it gives you the option to pay with any currency card that you are using, and it automatically converts it to USD and takes the equivalent. Okay, I think there's a question from Michael. The first class will start from November. Yes, the next class starts November 2nd. Okay, but we always have classes that start every first Saturday of the month. So one thing is sure, we always have classes that start every first Saturday of the month, but the pricing is what may not be certain. So for November cohort, the price is this. And if you want to, secure your spot and defer for 1 month, it is also possible, which means you can secure your spot and defer for 1 month that you want to start by December. That is also fully acceptable. So we've hit the 2-hour mark. West African time is 10 p.m. West African time. So please remember, make sure you fill the attendance form so that you have access to all these materials here. This is someone that requested for reference letter. The company sent the request in French because it is a French company. I will have to transcribe it and then write the reference and send it back to them in French again. So these are things that we do to make sure that you are able to land road. These are also other people that have been able to walk through this exact journey and are able to move from their initial role into the tech ecosystem. You too can be the next person. Remember, the journey starts. And I always tell people to look at the opportunity cost. What if they don't get to transition now? What will it cost me? Do I want to be where I am for the next 5 to 10 years? It's only you that can answer the question, right? But what would assure you is that would help you to move from that exact point to the next point. This is what we've done for over 2,000 people that have been able to make the move. And these guys enjoy amazing places. I always tell people that NHS is our highest employer in UK because they always give sponsored visa. So you too can be part of these people also. And we have other case studies, other corporate responsibilities that I've been able to provide in the last years, like hackathons, capture the flag, and so much more, to make sure that our students participate in all these competitions as well. So remember, if you are able to get the skills now, by 2025, when people will now start saying, oh, I want to transfer into the tech, you are already in tech. And that's when recruiters will now start looking for people that they will hire. But for you to position yourself to be hired next year, you need to start your learning journey right now. So on behalf of my founder, Adeza Suleiman, and the co-founder, Efemena Ibro, people that are, amazing technology consultants in this space. They've had wealth of experience in both data, in business, in cyber, in project management, and all the places that we offer. They've been able to touch base with it. I say a very big thank you to each and every one of you for staying from 8 p.m. West African time to 10 p.m. West African time with us. And I can't wait to see each and every one of you come 2nd November in the classroom. So if you have constructive questions that I would not like to ask here, please, the clarity call will also be shared in our various groups that we came here through. Make sure you book a personal one-on-one clarity call with us, where we'll also help you to look at your background and choose a career path that also suits you if you don't want to go the route of cybersecurity. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Ekene, for providing the amazing Nmap vulnerability assessment for us tonight. And I say a very big thank you to you for being here to this very moment. So we're going to draw the curtain here. And remember, the discount is just for the first 20 people. And you can become a tech bro just by partaking in these exact classes. So good night, everyone. Good afternoon, and take care, and bye for now. Cheers, guys.